Well, my name is Jason Diaz. I am from Silver Spring, Maryland.
My name is Cindy Diaz, and Jason and I have been married for 11 years.
I would always see Pastor Joel on TV. I had a really good friend who was telling me about an internship program that he did here, and it had been years he was telling me about it, and I kind of was just like putting it off, like, I don't want to do that.
He always mentioned he wanted to do the internship at Lakewood, so
I just started getting this burning desire that maybe it's time to make that journey.
You know, I know he does have a calling on his life. Like, I know his passion for ministry, so I definitely wanted to support him. I know it wasn't easy. I grew up in Maryland. Like, we're both from there. My family's there. Like, everything is in Maryland. I had a great job. I worked there for 12 years.
Everything was set up for me to be in Maryland. And so to just kind of drop everything and leave, it was a big deal. It taught me to trust God more. You know, it taught me that, you know, there are things that God's gonna ask you to do afraid. You're gonna do things that you don't understand. And you just gotta trust God trust that God knows what's best for you.
The move down to Houston, I feel like wasn't so bad because God was with us throughout the whole process. Me moving down here, I had an interview 2 days after, and then I got a job. So that was blessing, you know, number one. And then 2 weeks later, you know, we start looking for a home because our kids had to go to school, so I had to have them in a school district, and then we find a home. So I just feel like little by little, God was putting every piece together with me finding a job, us finding a home. So I just feel like, you know, God made everything work. It's moving to Houston, and you know, you're thinking, oh, this is gonna be a great year. And then COVID hits, and Jason was actually furloughed. And then the schools, you know, closed. That, I would say, was the hardest hit on me because I was like, what are my kids gonna do?
It was kind of a lot of uncertainty, and I had heard a lot of talk about my job that, you know, maybe we're getting furloughed, but it wasn't certain yet. But eventually it did come. We were furloughed for about a month. And I think the first thing that I felt was panic. Full-time dad, I have kids, I have a home, I have, you know, pay bills that I need to pay, car note. All of those things just kind of start rushing to your head. I think it was about remembering how God got me through challenging times in the past, that even though this was another challenging moment, He got me through before, He's gonna get me through again. And that was kind of our mentality about it. Now working again, and you know, a bill was never missed. You know, God always provided.
And then with this new school year, they were talking about virtual. How are they gonna do virtual without having one of us there? So I would have that conversation with him, like, maybe I should stay home, you know, maybe I should quit my job, but he was kind of like, why would you do that? You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, who quits their job in the middle of a pandemic? But I just felt it was right. The day comes where I give my 2 weeks notice. Of course I'm nervous, but on my way to work, I was just praying to God. I was like, look, God, like, you've been faithful throughout this whole process, like us moving here, me finding a job, you know, Jason doing the internship. Like, I trust you. Like, I know this is gonna work. And I put in my 2 weeks notice. Probably an hour after I send this email, I get a text message from my old boss. And he told me that the owner had actually sold his business and that he was gonna bless me with a check. And I was just like, wow, like, you know, this is God. And immediately, you know, I just started thinking, God, like, you know, you provided once again. With this blessing, like, I knew we were gonna be okay. And yeah, so I've been able to be a stay-at-home mom.
Throughout our marriage, through the pandemic, there were always ups and downs. And we were able to rely on God and put Him at the center, and He always got us through. As Pastor Joel always says, you know, our best days are always still ahead of us. So that's something that we hold on to all the time.